Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwartner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have a wonderful guest, Christina Brady. She's the CEO of Luster.ai. Welcome, Christina.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this conversation.
I'm really fascinated by how much you have done already, and you look so young.
As a very, very young person, I sort of haphazardly found my way into sales. My original career goals of being a comedian, and I wanted to be on a sitcom right when I was graduating college, and that was during kind of the housing crisis of 2007, 2008. And so really the only places that were hiring were insurance companies. And so I became a fully licensed financial planner and realized that I love to sell, but I didn't love what I was selling. And that was when Groupon was coming out of the woodwork. And I had a friend who had already been hired there. And he said, you sell, you should come sell at Groupon. And that's kind of where I really grew up as a salesperson, got my first real leadership job while I was there. I got to oversee a bunch of pilot teams, but I finally said, I'm too comfortable at Groupon. So I wound up going to work at Glassdoor and being the head of growth there for about a half a decade before going over to a company called Sales Assembly. And then I went on to be the head of sales at Speckett. And then I said, you know what? Went over, became CEO and one of the co-founders of Luster.
Tell us about Luster.ai.
Luster at a high level is an AI role play platform where we are not only using AI to create a beautiful user interface and simulation experience for go-to-market employees, but also we're utilizing that to coin a new way of enablement and learning and development that we are trademarking and calling predictive enablement. And it's this idea of, because of the fact that you have a practice platform that is building a proficiency map for you, right? So if you're an organization and you have a very specific matrix, skills, processes, methodologies that you want your people to be selling against, not only can we build that into Luster, but then every single person has a proficiency map. So Luster knows, for me as a salesperson, where am I proficient in all of those skills and where are they showing up and where am I deficient? And then what it's able to do is predict mistakes that you're about to make based on calls that are on your calendar and create custom practice sessions based on the calls that you have and focus you on the areas where you have weakness. And then it's great because you can deliver those insights back to sales leaders who are the best coaches in the world with their coaching based on reactively watching gong calls or based on subjective material versus getting a prescription where they can say, this sales rep on my team has these skill deficiencies that are about to impact these specific pieces of revenue in the next 3 weeks. I can coach in real time to those. And then also we aim to expose enablement ROI. Anybody that's ever been in enablement knows that they do amazing training, learning and development, curriculum programming, but they're constantly having to fight and battle to justify their own existence.
How does AI function in your tool?
So AI's entire job in our tool is to mimic a SaaS buyer for right now, or mimic whatever your buyer looks like. And so that is down to the personality. What are the wants and desires? We can look at things like DISC methodology. How do they communicate? What do they want? So the entire AI's job here is to, one, almost create a clone of the person that you need to be talking to down to their mannerisms. So you can go to a tool like LinkedIn and say, this is an example of the kind of person that I typically sell to. And we can recreate a digital copy of that person. And then you can turn up varying levels of difficulty, right? Is that person that you're selling to easygoing? Are they skeptical? Are they aggressive? Are they confrontational? Are they lackadaisical? Are they disengaged? Whatever it might be, how do we make it feel like they're a very real person? And what do the mechanisms of easy to hard actually look like? And then the other piece of it is actually providing real-time feedback within the course of the conversation, and then post-feedback after the conversation. Here's what went well. Here's what could have been better.
So how would you incorporate the DISC model?
You probably know with ChatGPT 4.0, it can pull anything contextually off of the web. So immediately when we type in DISC methodology, it's going to start to pull public information off of the web. On top of that, we can feed the model any specific company training information as to how they've applied DISC either internally or externally. And then we can assign a characteristic of DISC to each prospect so that reps can practice selling against a high D sub I or a high S or a high C, right? So if you want your salespeople to practice selling against an operator who is a C personality when they're a high I, we know those are typically opposing and there can be some friction. You can practice that ahead of time. And so you can actually use that to impact correct communication style in the practice session and get better feedback on how to be understood and how to listen.
So how can people learn more about you and about your company and your solution?
You can find me on LinkedIn. It's Christina Brady. If you want to learn more about Luster, you can visit us at Luster.ai. You can send me an email, Christina@Luster.ai. Happy to talk to anybody and offer, any help or assistance as you're navigating your enablement journey.